Have you ever wondered why some people who have nothing are the happiest, while those who have everything feel empty? Today's story is about Matthew, a young man trapped in bone-chilling poverty, and a simple shard of glass that turned a tragedy into a miracle. Deep within a valley where the mist never seems to lift, lived a boy named Matthew whose only inheritance was a pair of boots so worn the soles whispered against the frozen mud with every step. His father was a woodsman whose strength had been stolen by the years, and his mother lay confined to a bed of straw, her breath as thin and fragile as the winter air. While other children played with wooden soldiers, Matthew spent his days gathering fallen branches, his fingers numbed by the frost, and his stomach tight with the constant, gnawing ache of hunger. Despite the shadows of the valley, Matthew possessed eyes that didn't look at the dirt, but instead drifted toward the shimmering spires of the distant kingdoms, where clocks chimed in perfect golden harmony. He dreamed of becoming the greatest horologist the world had ever seen, imagining tiny gears of brass and silver dancing together to conquer the very concept of time itself. But whenever he spoke of these mechanical wonders, the village blacksmith would let out a roar of laughter that echoed cruelly against the stone walls of the forge. A boy who cannot afford a single crust of bread should learn to keep his eyes on the potatoes in the dirt, rather than the stars in the sky. The villagers would smear, their words sharper than any winter wind. These insults acted like a heavy shroud, slowly dimming the fire in Matthew's heart, and making him wonder if he was destined to be nothing more than a ghost in a forgotten village. One evening, while trekking through the deepest part of the woods, where the trees seemed to groan with age, Matthew stumbled upon a small, flickering campfire, tended by an old man named Thomas. Thomas was a hermit who carried the stillness of the mountains in his gaze, and seeing the boy's despair, he reached into his tattered robe and pulled out a jagged, unpolished shard of glass. "My son, the world is often a layer of thick dust designed to blind you from your own potential, making me believe you are weak when you are merely untested," the old man whispered. "If you believe that your current situation does not define your future, comment yes below to claim your breakthrough." Thomas handed the glass to Matthew, explaining that if he polished it with the cloth of perseverance every single day, he would eventually see the sun, even when the sky was choked with storm clouds. Never let an empty pocket result in an empty heart, for the mind is a kingdom that no tyrant or poverty can ever truly conquer, Thomas said, before vanishing into the shadows of the pines. With those cryptic words etched into his soul, Matthew returned to the village, not as a victim of fate, but as a student of the invisible forces that govern success. By day, he worked double shifts at the local sawmill, his muscles screaming in protest as he hauled heavy timber to earn the copper coins needed for his mother's medicine. By night, while the rest of the village succumbed to the heavy sleep of the weary, Matthew walked 3 miles to the neighboring town to sit at the feet of an ancient, grumpy clockmaker. He accepted no wages for his labor, asking only for the right to sweep the floors and watch how the delicate springs and balance wheels sang their rhythmic songs of order. He spent his few spare moments huddled over a single candle in his attic, using discarded scraps of metal to practice the art of precision, while his breath puffed in white clouds in the freezing room. Have you ever felt like you were working in the dark while everyone else was ahead? Type 1 if you are currently searching for your path through the storm. His hands became a map of scars and calluses, and his meals were often nothing more than the hard rinds of cheese left behind by the master. Yet his spirit grew larger than the valley itself. Years drifted by like falling leaves, and the boy who was once mocked for his tattered coat began to understand the secret language of machines better than the masters who taught him. He discovered that a clock is not just a tool for measuring time, but a testament to how small individual parts can create a grand, harmonious destiny when aligned with purpose. Matthew began to build a timepiece of his own design, one that could withstand the brutal humidity of the valley and the freezing temperatures of the high peaks without losing a single second. He sacrificed the comforts of youth, the warmth of the tavern, and the ease of low expectations to ensure that every gear he filed was a masterpiece of intent. Word began to spread of the ghost of the attic, who could fix any mechanism and create beauty from the rusted scraps that others threw into the trash heaps. Eventually, a carriage bearing the crest of the High King arrived in the muddy village, seeking the artisan who had mastered the art of frozen time amidst the wilderness. The villagers watched in stunned silence as Matthew emerged from his humble workshop, his back straight and his eyes reflecting the same light Thomas had seen years before. He hadn't just built a clock, he had built a legacy of resilience that now commanded the respect of those who once told him to look only at the dirt. If you admire the courage it takes to stand up after being knocked down, hit the like button and share your favorite life lesson in the comments. The wealth that followed allowed him to build a sanctuary for his aging parents, filling their final years with the warmth and medicine that poverty had long denied them. He transformed the entire valley into a center of craftsmanship, providing jobs and hope to the children who, like him, had been told they were born for nothing. The very men who laughed at his shoeless dreams now sought his counsel, realizing that Matthew saw a world they were too blinded by cynicism to perceive. When Thomas finally returned to the valley as a very old man, he found Matthew standing atop a balcony overlooking a thriving city of innovation and light. Matthew showed the hermit the shard of glass, now polished into a magnificent lens that focused the rays of the setting sun into a beam of pure gold. "You were right, Master Thomas," Matthew said softly. "The dust of the world tried to cover me, but the polishing of the soul revealed the light that was always there." The hermit smiled and reminded him that while a man's feet may be planted in the mud, his soul must always be stationed among the stars. This powerful life story serves as a reminder that your current environment is a starting line, not a finish line, and your vision is the only currency that truly matters. Success against all odds is not about the absence of struggle, but about the presence of a dream that is louder than the noise of the world. Every gear in Matthew's clocks represented a day of hunger, a night of cold, and a moment of doubt that he chose to overcome with action. Life lessons are often wrapped in the roughest packaging, hidden within the very obstacles we try so hard to avoid. As you move forward today, remember that the only person who can truly limit your horizon is the one you see in the mirror every morning. May you find the strength to polish your own shard of glass until the path ahead becomes as clear as a summer day. If this story moved your heart, please share it with someone who needs a reminder of their own worth. And don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the human spirit.